What's up, guys? Welcome back to yourrealestate101.com. Okay, in this video, I want to talk to you about what do you do when a tenant tells you, I want to move. What's the best options? Okay, now, if you guys have not already, please subscribe, like, share, comment below if you guys going to have any questions. Well, let's get into this thing. Okay, your tenant calls you or texts you or message you or sends you an email, whatever, and tells you that they want to move. Well, what do? Well, here are my top 5 things that you can do when a tenant asks you to move. And these are also in steps. Okay, now step 1, tell the tenant over the phone, and also you're going to want to double it down and either send an email as well as or a letter. I think at this time too, it's okay to ask them why, if there's anything wrong with the place or anything like that. But if it's for good reason, they're just moving for whatever reasons, well, here's what you're going to want to do next. You're going to want to tell them all the ways that what they can do to make sure they avoid losing their deposit. And this is with cleaning, fixing small damages, filling little holes in the walls, that kind of thing, as well as even saying, hey, if you paint your apartment, that can also help you too as well. And just between you and I, that also helps the landlord. If you do the math, you will realize that it costs a lot of money, way more than what their security is sometimes, to have the apartments repainted. So if they do it, it's in your advantage. And they have more incentive to do it since they really want their security deposit back. Okay, one thing that I would do is give them paint. Give them a few cans of paint and let them do the work. Okay, all right, step 2, order an inspection from one of your team. Obviously, you would have one of your team or yourself. You would do an inspection of the apartment. The purpose of this is to see the condition of the unit. Here, you can see if there's any major repairs that's going to need to be done after they move out. Or if, let's say, you have some broken doors, you can start ordering these things right away. So that way, the minute they leave, you are ready to go and you can start fixing things, as opposed to if they move out and then you're ordering stuff and then you have the apartment just waiting around empty. The goal is this: you don't want an empty apartment. You want to have the apartments rented as soon as possible to the right person. So these things can also shorten up the time. Another thing that I would do is this: if I see the apartment is in really good condition, I would then ask them, hey, you know what? I would like to show this apartment while you're here. Is it okay? Now, it is also important in step 1, when we send the letter out, we would also offer them $100 if they can find a suitable tenant or a good tenant that can take over that apartment. Well, of course, we're going to qualify them, but if the person does qualify and we end up giving it to them, hey, we'll throw them some money, maybe 100, 200, 300, whatever it is. Okay. Now, if they allow us to show the apartment while they're there, I will also I think it's a good idea to also send them, give them a little bit of money. That way they can feel like it's worth their while to do it. Okay. Now step 3, after the tenant has left, do a move out inspection. Take 6 pictures, ceiling, floor, all 4 walls. This is a basic inspection. And if you see anything that's damaged, you go into a close up and you try to identify that. We can identify the room, etc. Step 4, deduct the cost of the damages, unpaid bills, anything that's basically in your records that, hey, this person owed money, whatever it is, deduct it from the security deposit. But if the tenant helped you, either they helped you find a tenant, one of the ways that we mentioned before, do not deduct that, give it to them. Okay, that you want them to tell people, look, you know what, my place has some damages, blah blah blah, but I helped them find an apartment, and guess what? They gave me money. This is a good word of mouth also for people to know, like, hey, fix your places up, or help them find a tenant, that kind of thing. Okay. Now, step 5, send them a check or a bill with the description to why you deducted whatever you deducted. So here they would either get the money back or whatever is left of the money of their security deposit, or you would then send them a bill describing all the things you deducted for. Now, I would say in this moment here, be a little reasonable, because make sure you can prove anything that is on that. But you do want to go through it. I mean, if they broke a window, they broke a window. But make sure that anything you put on that you can prove. And windows, yes, that's their apartment. So yes, they're responsible. But if it's something like, for example, like you have two tenants and the hallway has a hole in it, and it's a hallway that connects both apartments, and both tenants is saying, well, it wasn't me. It's, you can't just deduct half of it and then half for the other tenant, or pick and choose which tenant you think may have did it. You have to be able to prove it at that point that it's that tenant. So don't get into that kind of action. Okay. So the other thing too I want to point out is this. Remember, at this moment, when you do not give that security deposit back, although yes, they did some damages, you have to get your money back, you have to make money. However, if you took that money for some frivolous little thing or whatever it is, and then guess what? That is like you paying advertising, a negative advertising for your places. This tenant will go around, they will tell good tenants, bad tenants, all people, this property does not give money back. Okay? And this will make people scared. Even if you think it will not work, you're going to have a nice apartment, believe it or not, it does affect. I mean, how many of you guys, whenever you're about to buy something, look at the reviews and still make a decision from there? I know I do. I know I'll go through, I'll see a review of 3,000 people will making a review on something and say they love it. But then that one person or that two person who said, oh man, this thing didn't work that well. And guess what? I sometimes change my mind. Okay. So just know that the tenants are doing the same thing. You really want to make sure that we're still trying to be on a positive note so that people can come back to us and maybe even want to re-rent with us, because that's the opposite. That's something that could happen as well. And they can talk good about us to people, and good tenants can hear about it. Okay. Now, there you have it. Those are my 5 steps you should take when a tenant tells you I'm moving out. Now, if you haven't already, like I said before, subscribe, help us out, and turn on that notification, like, share, comment. And if you have any questions or you have something you want to ask, just ask, comment below, and let's start a conversation. Thank you.